You are the foundation of everything you build. Your mindset, your energy, your habits, and your beliefs form the very ground on which every dream, goal, and achievement rests. If that ground is unstable, even the most ambitious plans will crumble. But if the foundation is strong, you can build as high as you dare, and it will stand the test of time. Just like a skyscraper relies on deep, solid pillars before it rises into the sky, your life depends on the strength of the inner structure you create for yourself. Too many people try to construct their success on shaky ground, neglecting their health, ignoring personal discipline, and underestimating the power of a positive mental attitude. They focus on what they want to achieve without first ensuring they have the capacity to hold it all together. And then they wonder why their progress collapses at the first sign of challenge. Your results are a reflection of your inner world. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, and procrastination, it will show up in your work, your relationships, and your daily life. But when your mind is disciplined, focused, and clear, you naturally bring order to the outer world. This is why working on yourself first is not selfish, it is strategic. When you strengthen your mindset, when you nurture your health, when you upgrade your skills, you create a solid base from which you can handle bigger responsibilities and seize greater opportunities without being overwhelmed. It's not about waiting until you are ready to start chasing your dreams. It's about making sure you are capable of sustaining them once they arrive. Think of it like building a house. If you rush to decorate the walls without checking the strength of the foundation, you set yourself up for disappointment. The paint may look beautiful for a while, but the cracks will show. The storms of life, setbacks, criticism, unforeseen challenges will test the integrity of what you've built. And when your personal foundation is weak, those storms will knock you off balance. But if you've invested time and effort into building yourself up, mentally, emotionally, physically, you become unshakable. You may bend under pressure, but you won't break. You'll weather difficulties with resilience because you've built on solid ground. This means prioritizing self-mastery over quick wins. It means investing in knowledge because a strong foundation includes understanding how the world works and how you can navigate it. It means taking care of your health, because even the best opportunities mean nothing if you lack the energy to pursue them. It means being intentional about your environment, because the people and places around you influence the stability of your foundation. It means developing discipline, because success often comes down to doing the hard things long after the excitement has faded. Every positive habit you adopt is like adding concrete to your base, making it sturdier and more reliable. When you make yourself the priority, you start noticing a shift in how life responds to you. People take you more seriously. Opportunities seem to appear more frequently. Challenges that used to intimidate you now feel like manageable puzzles. You handle rejection without losing confidence because your self-worth isn't built on temporary outcomes. It's anchored in the person you have become. This is the quiet power of being the foundation of your own success. You no longer depend on the approval of others to feel strong. You no longer wait for the perfect conditions to act. You move forward because you've prepared yourself to handle whatever comes. Focusing on your foundation is not about perfection. It's about progress. You don't need to have it all figured out before you start building, but you must continuously strengthen what's beneath you. The process never stops. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to add more stability. Every lesson you learn is another brick in your structure. The higher you want to build, the deeper you must be willing to dig into yourself. The skyscraper of your life will only rise as high as the strength of its foundation allows. If you try to skip the hard work of building from within, you might rise quickly, but you will also fall quickly. And here's the most empowering part. Your foundation is entirely in your control. You may not control the economy, the competition, or the unpredictable twists of life, but you can always control how prepared you are to face them. You can choose to read instead of waste time. You can choose to train your body instead of letting it weaken. You can choose to practice discipline instead of waiting for motivation. You can choose to think in terms of solutions instead of drowning in problems. Every choice you make either strengthens or weakens your foundation. The world will test you, but it cannot take away the work you've done on yourself. That is yours to keep, and it will serve you in every situation. When you understand that you are the foundation of everything you build, your perspective changes. You stop asking, "When will I get what I want?" and start asking, "How can I become the person who can handle it when it comes?" That shift in thinking is the difference between temporary success and lasting achievement. It is the difference between fragile dreams and unshakable realities. Life becomes less about chasing and more about creating, because you trust that when you are solid within, everything you build on top will stand firm no matter what winds try to knock it down. Self-investment creates long-term success because the most valuable asset you will ever own is yourself. Your skills, your health, your mindset, your habits. These are the engines that power everything you do. When you choose to invest in yourself, you are not spending time, money, or effort. You are planting seeds that will grow into future opportunities, stability, and fulfillment. Unlike possessions or material rewards that can fade, break, or be taken away, the knowledge you gain, the strength you build, and the character you develop remain with you. They become part of who you are, and they continue to pay returns for the rest of your life. This is why the most successful people in any field prioritize self-investment above all else. They know that before they can have more, they must become more. Investing in yourself is not limited to formal education or training. It is a mindset. It's the decision to make every day count toward becoming better than you were yesterday. It's the willingness to delay short-term gratification for long-term reward. It's about saying yes to habits that strengthen you, and no to distractions that drain you. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every hour you dedicate to growth adds value to your future self. And just like compound interest in a bank account, the earlier and more consistently you invest, the greater the payoff becomes over time. The small improvements you make today may seem insignificant, but over the years they multiply into remarkable results. The challenge is that self-investment often requires patience, and patience is something many people struggle with. We live in a world that celebrates instant results, quick fixes, overnight success, and shortcuts. But in reality, anything worth having takes time to build. You cannot expect to master a skill after one lesson, build a strong body after one workout, or achieve financial independence after one smart decision. Real growth happens in layers, and each layer is added through consistent effort. This is why self-investment is a commitment, not an event. You are not simply working on yourself for a season. You are choosing to make it a lifelong priority. Every area of life benefits when you invest in yourself. When you improve your health, you increase your energy and mental clarity, which allows you to perform better at work and handle challenges with resilience. When you develop emotional intelligence, you strengthen your relationships, communicate more effectively, and earn trust and respect from others. When you enhance your skills, you open doors to new opportunities, higher income, and greater job security. When you cultivate discipline, you gain the ability to follow through on your goals even when motivation fades. All of these advantages compound, creating a life that steadily moves upward instead of staying stagnant. It's important to understand that self-investment is not always comfortable. It requires stepping outside your comfort zone and facing challenges head-on. It might mean taking courses that push you beyond what you think you can handle, waking up earlier to create time for your goals, or saying no to activities that provide short-term pleasure, but do nothing for your future. It might mean putting in extra hours to practice your craft, or spending money on resources that help you grow instead of wasting it on things that depreciate in value. These choices are not easy in the moment, but they are necessary for the future you want to create. The beauty of self-investment is that it builds confidence. As you see yourself improve, you start to trust your ability to handle bigger challenges. You no longer feel like success is out of your reach, because you've proven to yourself, step by step, that you can grow into the kind of person who earns it. This confidence changes the way you approach life. You stop waiting for opportunities to come to you and start creating them. You stop fearing failure and start seeing it as feedback. You stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own progress. Another powerful aspect of self-investment is that it inspires those around you. When people see your dedication to growth, they often feel motivated to improve themselves as well. You become an example of what is possible, and that influence can create a ripple effect, leading to better teams, stronger relationships, and healthier communities. Your personal growth doesn't just benefit you, it uplifts everyone connected to you. There will be times when the results of your self-investment are not immediately visible. You may wonder if the hours you've spent learning, practicing, or developing yourself are really making a difference. This is where many people give up. But the truth is that growth is often invisible in the short term. You may not notice the progress you're making until you face a challenge that you can now handle with ease, or until an opportunity arises, and you realize you're fully prepared to take it. In those moments, the value of your investment becomes undeniable. Ultimately, self-investment creates a sense of stability that external circumstances cannot shake. The economy may shift, industries may change, and challenges will arise, but the work you have done to strengthen yourself remains. The skills you have developed, the resilience you have built, and the confidence you have cultivated give you the power to adapt and thrive, no matter what happens. This is why focusing on your own growth is one of the most secure and rewarding investments you can ever make. It ensures that as long as you keep building yourself, you will always have the ability to create success in your life. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Life has a way of reminding us, often harshly, that not everything is within our grasp. Plans fall apart, people behave unpredictably, circumstances shift without warning, and the world moves in ways we cannot control. Yet too often, we spend enormous amounts of energy trying to bend the uncontrollable to our will. We replay conversations in our heads, wishing we had said something different. We obsess over the decisions of others, imagining how much better life would be if they acted the way we wanted. We worry about events that haven't happened yet, as if our anxiety could somehow change the outcome. All this mental and emotional effort is like trying to hold back the tide with your hands, pointless, exhausting, and ultimately destructive to your peace of mind. The truth is, the more you try to control what's beyond your reach, the more powerless you feel. But when you shift your focus to the things you can influence, your actions, your thoughts, your responses, you regain a sense of strength and clarity. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that difficulties don't exist. It means acknowledging them without letting them consume you. You cannot control the weather, but you can control whether you carry an umbrella. You cannot control the economy, but you can control how you manage your finances. You cannot control the behavior of other people, but you can control how you respond to them. When you stop wasting energy on what is outside your control, you free up that energy for what truly matters, improving yourself, making better decisions, and building the kind of life that reflects your values. One of the most powerful things about focusing only on what you can control is that it creates an immediate sense of calm. Worry often comes from imagining worst-case scenarios and then feeling helpless to stop them. But when you take action in areas where you do have influence, you feel empowered instead of anxious. Even small steps like organizing your day, practicing a skill, or choosing your words carefully remind you that you are not entirely at the mercy of outside forces. The sense of agency you gain from this approach is invaluable. It helps you stay grounded in the present moment instead of being swept away by frustration over the past or fear of the future. Letting go of what you can't control is not an act of weakness. It's an act of strength. It requires humility to accept that the world doesn't revolve around our preferences and that some things will happen no matter what we do. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing to put your effort where it counts. It means understanding that your time and energy are limited resources, and using them wisely is the key to a meaningful life. When you cling to control over the uncontrollable, you drain those resources and leave yourself depleted. But when you let go, you create space for clarity, creativity, and resilience. The process of letting go can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent years trying to manage every detail. You might feel uneasy when you stop micromanaging situations or worrying about outcomes. But over time, you'll notice that life feels lighter. You'll stop taking the weight of the world on your shoulders and start focusing on the part of the world you can actually change your own. This is where real progress happens, because your effort is no longer scattered in 100 different directions. It is concentrated on the areas that will yield results. It's important to remember that you always have control over your attitude, even when you can't control your circumstances. Two people can face the exact same challenge, but their experiences can be vastly different based on how they choose to think about it. One person sees an obstacle and gives up. The other sees a chance to learn and adapt. The difference isn't in the situation, it's in the mindset. By choosing how you interpret events, you have the power to turn difficulties into opportunities. This is why perspective is one of the most valuable tools you can develop. Another benefit of focusing on what you can control is that it strengthens your relationships. When you stop trying to change other people and start accepting them for who they are, you remove a major source of conflict. You can still set boundaries, communicate your needs, and choose who you spend time with, but you no longer waste energy trying to force someone into becoming what you wish they were. This shift not only gives you peace, It often improves the relationship because people feel respected rather than pressured. Over time, this approach to life becomes second nature. You start asking yourself in every situation, is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, you take action. If the answer is no, you release it and redirect your focus. This habit is liberating because it keeps you from spiraling into stress over things you have no power to change. It keeps you moving forward instead of getting stuck in frustration. Life will always have uncertainties, but by controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't, you maintain your balance. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it with intention. This is how you create not only a more successful life, but also a more peaceful one. Success is attracted, not chased. The harder you run after it without first preparing yourself to receive it, the more it seems to slip away. This is because true success is not something you grab. It's something you draw toward you by the person you become. When you focus solely on chasing the end result, you often neglect the qualities, habits, and mindset required to sustain it. You might get a small taste of progress, but it doesn't last because you haven't built the foundation to hold it. The people who seem to have opportunities fall into their lap are not lucky. They have positioned themselves in such a way that success naturally gravitates toward them. They have developed skills, built relationships, and cultivated the discipline that makes them ready when the right doors open. When you chase success blindly, your energy is often scattered. You jump from one opportunity to another, hoping something will work, but without the focus or consistency that allows results to compound. You operate from a place of desperation rather than confidence, and that energy is noticeable. People can sense when you're trying too hard, when you're forcing things instead of allowing them to align. This kind of energy can repel opportunities rather than attract them. On the other hand, when you shift your focus from chasing to becoming, you create a magnetic pull. You work on your skills, your mindset, your habits, and your value to others. This steady improvement not only makes you more capable, but also more appealing to the people and opportunities that can help you move forward. Attraction is built through preparation and consistency. Think of it like planting a garden. You can't force plants to grow by pulling on them, just as you can't force success to happen by demanding it. You prepare the soil, plant the seeds, water them regularly, and protect them from weeds. Over time, growth becomes inevitable because you've created the right conditions for it. In life, your soil is your personal development, your knowledge, your health, your resilience, your work ethic. Your watering is the daily discipline of taking action toward your goals without expecting instant results. When you keep tending to your garden, success has no choice but to grow. This doesn't mean you should sit back and do nothing, waiting for success to show up. Attraction is not passive. It's intentional action without desperation. It's knowing what you want, working toward it every day, but not being consumed by the fear that it won't happen fast enough. It's trusting the process and understanding that as long as you keep improving yourself, opportunities will eventually recognize your readiness. This approach creates a calm, confident energy that others naturally respond to. Employers, clients, and collaborators are drawn to people who are steady, competent, and reliable, not to those who seem frantic and unprepared. When you focus on becoming the kind of person success wants to find, you also develop patience. You stop comparing your journey to others because you know that your timeline is unique. You stop resenting people who are further ahead because you understand they've done the work to attract the results. Instead of being discouraged by their success, you let it inspire you to keep building your own. This patience allows you to make better decisions because you're not chasing short-term wins at the expense of long-term stability. Success is attracted to clarity. If you don't know what you want, it's difficult for the right opportunities to find you. Too many people send mixed signals. They say they want financial freedom, but they spend their time and money in ways that create debt. They say they want a healthy relationship, but they accept toxic dynamics. They say they want a fulfilling career, but they don't invest in the skills that would make them valuable in their field. When your actions align with your goals, you create a clear signal that draws matching opportunities toward you. Without that alignment, you repel the very things you claim to want. Another key to attracting success is adding value to others. The more you contribute, the more people want to work with you, recommend you, and open doors for you. Success often comes through other people, someone who trusts you enough to give you a chance, someone who sees your dedication and wants to help, someone who believes in your ability to deliver results. When you focus on helping others succeed, you create goodwill that often comes back to you multiplied. This principle is true in business, relationships, and personal growth. By making yourself an asset to others, you make yourself impossible to ignore. It's also important to understand that attraction works best when combined with authenticity. Pretending to be someone you're not in order to draw success will only create short-term results. Eventually, the truth surfaces and the opportunities you've attracted will fade because they weren't aligned with your real self. The most sustainable form of attraction comes from leaning into your strengths, being honest about your values, and consistently living in a way that reflects them. When you're genuine, you naturally connect with the right people and opportunities because there is no mismatch between what you project and who you are. In the end, attracting success is about building yourself into the kind of person who is ready for it, worthy of it, and able to sustain it. It's about putting in the work behind the scenes so that when success arrives, it stays. It's about understanding that you don't need to run after every opportunity. When you are prepared, the right ones will recognize you. The chase ends when the attraction begins, and the attraction begins the moment you commit to becoming the best version of yourself.